I first met Felix at a pet store in Ross Township, that is a suburb just north of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He was being offered for adoption through the Western PA Humane Society. I was not looking for a cat for myself at the time, but for a friend. However, things changed, and I eventually came to be Felix's forever home. He was the first cat I ever owned. He was the best cat I ever owned. This is his story. The paperwork provided by the pet store at the time of Felix's adoption states that he was a cat surrendered by his previous owner and had the name Ace. The reason given for the surrender was not enough room for the cat. That seemed somewhat disingenuous. A cat would live out of a box if it had to. And knowing what I know now, I couldn't not imagine ever giving him up. But their loss is my gain. During the 2008 financial crisis, when people were giving up their pets en masse, my mother said something that rung true for me also. She said, I would go without food for myself before I would give up my Daisy, who was her dog. Felix was born August 11th, 2008, making him 11 months old when I first met him, so he was really still just a kitten. He was surrendered by his previous owner on June 11th, 2009, so he was at the shelter about a month before I adopted him on July 9th. Felix's great gift was his ability to immediately bond with people. If you sat down, he would make himself comfortable in your lap, even if he had never met you before. He was very active when he was young and loved to play, but as he grew older, like most cats, he preferred more sleep time. Felix was an indoor cat who loved basking in the sun. He would lay in different spots in the living room, following the sun as it crossed the sky. He loved the highest spots on his cat trees. I would officially declare him the tallest kitty in the world. He would look at me like, "Don't I get a treat?" Then I would whisper to him, "You will always be my first kitty, and you will always be my favorite kitty." Felix at one time had a life-threatening condition that he thankfully survived. Apparently, male cats that are neutered before they are adults can develop urinary tract problems that I did not know about at the time. He was having difficulty urinating, so I rushed him to the vet, who said he was close to organ failure. A night on an IV and a change in diet to a prescription cat food solved this problem. He had to stay on this prescription cat food for the rest of his life, and he never had another problem after that one episode. Felix had some odd quirks. He loved to have his butt smacked, and he is not the only cat I know that likes this. But what was really strange is that he liked to have his butt smacked to the tune of Jingle Bells at any time of year. It was like smack, 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 smack all the way. Smack, 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 smack. Oh! Someone once mentioned that the song's name should be Jingle Butt. After several iterations of singing and butt smacking, he would look at me as if to say, "Some more, please." He would take butt smacking for hours if I let him. Felix also had a single white whisker above just one eye. I used to call him One-Eyed Whisker, in reference to One-Eyed Willie from the Goonies movie. I had always wondered if Felix was lonely. I was working 10+ hour days at the time, so I really did not see him for much of the day. My Nest camera would catch him sitting on the windowsill waiting for my car to arrive in the driveway. When cats would come around, he would become very vocal, like he wanted a playmate. So I got him a girlfriend, Sophie, and he loved her. Another quirk was his affection for the Adele song, Someone Like You. It was not the Adele version that he would come running for, but the acoustic version I would play on the piano. And no matter where he was in the house, if I started playing Someone Like You on the piano, he would come running and sit next to me on the piano bench watching my fingers. And out of the hundreds of piano songs I've ever played, he would only come running for this one. When I was done playing, he would look up at me as if to say, "Please play it again," and I would. If cats have 9 lives, it would have been nice to have at least one more with Felix. One could say I had 2 when he came close to death and survived. I don't know where our pets go, if any place, after their time with us is up. I would like to think they are somewhere and that they remember us. I know I will never forget Felix. It's a small thing in life, a cat, but small is relative. In late August and early September of 2022, Felix started sneezing a lot. I did not think much of it, since he usually did this in early spring and fall. However, it continued into November, and he started losing weight because he could no longer smell his food and he would not eat. The vet said it was most likely nasal tumors that are common among older cats and dogs. By this time, Felix was 14 years old, but I have heard of cats living twice as long, so it did not seem fair. The vet gave Felix a couple shots that helped in the short term, and he began to eat a little again, but once the medication wore off, after about a week, his nose was discharging again, and he stopped eating. He was very weak, and I was very distraught. The vet said I had to weigh the quality of life left for Felix. I sat at the top of my stairs and asked Felix what he wanted me to do. Even though his nose and face were very sore, he head-butted me and gave me his paw as if to say, "It's okay. Do what you have to do." In the early morning hours of November 22nd, I contacted an at-home euthanization service. The vet was able to confirm that she could be at my home later on that morning for Felix. The euthanization process for cats and dogs consists of 2 shots. The first shot puts the pet in a deep sleep, and the second shot stops their heart and respiration. They never feel any pain. While I waited for the vet, I tried to keep Felix as warm and comfortable as possible on the sofa. I laid out pictures on the coffee table in front of him and declared, "This is your life." These pictures would be with Felix forever. The vet finally arrived and I laid Felix on my lap. She administered the first shot that usually takes a minute or two to take effect. As Felix was falling asleep, I whispered in his ear, "You will always be my first kitty. You will always be my favorite kitty. I'll never find someone like you." Then the vet administered the second shot, and Felix was gone. I keep asking Sophie, "Where's our little boy?" and reminding her that he's gone, little girl, he's really gone. I'm not sure she understands. I'm not sure I do. So all I have left are these few pictures and fewer videos, a few hairs, a cold mound of earth marked with a couple of pictures where Felix lies, and an eternal flame that will never die. And of course, his favorite song.